Right, so any Mark II owners know the joys of this job. Scraping off the, it's almost like bitumen they put inside it. I mean, fair play though, because it's obviously, protected the car all these years, and that's why the Golfs, didn't rust as bad as the old Escorts and stuff like that, because they were just filled with resin and wax and bitumen and all kinds of stuff. So, when you're restoring one of these or doing one up, it's basically a good idea to scrape it all off, then you can see what's underneath. So yeah, that is painted, but it's also covered in this bitumen. Covered in the bitumen. So that's the front floor that I've already done. Needs a bit of a grinder on it, but yes, the joys of doing this job. Let me know if you've done this before. Anyway, crack on. Best to use like a scraper. You can use a heat gun to heat it up, but I find it easier just to do it when it's like this. Just scrape it off, get a hammer and a chisel and get it off there. Anyway, carry on. What do you think? What do you reckon? Do you want to have a go? Well, don't get in there. What do you think? He's checking out, making sure I've done a good enough job. Right, so that's that side done. I still need to go over it with some paint thinners just to get the sort of tarry bits off. Yeah, I found a couple of holes as well, so needs a little bit of welding there and just a bit around there as well potentially. Doesn't warrant enough to cut the whole floor out, because I mean I can patch weld the bits that need doing. Yeah, so onto that side now. Off we go. It's funny because this car, a few people were offered it and they turned their nose up saying, oh, it's too far gone, it's not savable and all this kind of stuff. If I hadn't have taken this car on, it probably would have been weighed in all fairness. It would have been crushed. So it is a 1984 Golf GTI, so a really early one. But I mean, it's going to make a good track car, that's for sure. Especially with a 20 valve turbo engine. I used to have a 16 valve track day car, and that thing could keep up with some fast cars around the corners. So the idea is with this thing, keep up with some fast cars around the corners, but also overtake them on the straights. That's what I'm looking to do. Yeah, a bit more progress with the floors anyway. Like I said, it's the front left is the worst. There are some holes, little holes that I found in those two rear floor pans. I haven't touched that one yet. I'm sure that one's going to be bad, but it's still savable. I've had a quick look underneath, and all the subframe mounts appear to be intact. So but it's not going to have a full restoration, this car. I'm not doing a bare shell rebuild on it as such. I'm purely going to address the problem areas. So where there's surface rust, I'm going to clean it up and treat it, paint it. And where there are holes and rot, I'm going to cut it out and weld in sections. So it's going to be a budget build. It's not, the whole idea of this car is not to spend a huge amount of money on it. I mean, I bought this car for 400 quid. I mean, you can't buy a Mark II Golf GTI. Well, you probably can actually. I mean, if you're really lucky, you might find one for less than £1,000. Even with COVID tax. But I don't know, for 400 quid, and if I can keep the build, I don't know, if I can keep it under £5,000, that'd be pretty good. I'm sure I can keep it under £5,000. I mean, I think most of the money, well, it's going to be bucket seats, a roll cage. It's not having a respray. I'm just going to try and tidy up the paintwork that's on it, and then put stickers over the really bad bits. I think probably most of the money is going to go on the engine and the engine conversion. So what do you think? I mean, can I build this car for under £5,000, including the price of the car? So 400 quid. It's cost me so far. Maybe and a little bit of storage. So let's say, I don't know, let's say the car owes me 600 quid at the moment. That's including getting it moved back here as well. Hello, hole. Yes. Holes. I think I got a mole. A rust mole.